We have the traditional model of delivery so ingrained in our culture. And we have to change the culture about higher education and institutions from a place to go. We need to stop thinking about college as a place to go and more as a virtual, if you will, place where you find and where learning and instruction is delivered. And so I think that culture change needs significant work, if you will, and thinking, because if we continue to operate in the agricultural and industrial model we've developed for delivery of instruction, there's no way we're going to meet the challenge that the President has laid out of educating millions of more people. That's going to take very strong leadership. It's going to take new leadership. We have to stop talking in terms of capping enrollments, for example, and so forth, and find ways to reach more people with, either flat or very public resources will probably not be there in greater quantities, at least significantly, to do that. So I think the highest public service calling for higher education right now is to respond to this challenge. And I'd like to see higher education think of it as part of their public service mission, not distinct from the instructional mission. The work's going to get done by institutions. It's not going to get done by a committee in a state capitol or by a committee in Washington, D.C. So what we need to see is leaders. I wrote a paper a year ago. It was called Wanted Leaders That Produce. And so I believe that the leaders will have to come from within higher education. I think that really puts a significant emphasis on governing boards. I think governing boards have been neglected, quite frankly, in this discussion, and too much emphasis has been placed upon legislatures to solve the problems. Governing boards should take a stronger lead, number one, in setting goals for institutions, quantitative goals, but also in terms of the leaders that they hire. That's where it starts. Governing boards have the most influence on that. So I believe that governing boards and presidents of institutions, chancellors of institutions, heads of systems can have the most impact in terms of changing the course or setting the course, even more so than legislatures or governors can. So I would really put an emphasis on governing boards and presidents and charging those persons or entities with this in a more significant way than we have to date.